We are going to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for September 24th, 2020, and we will begin the meeting at 7 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance. John, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. Thank you, participants at home. Next item, roll call. Rosemary, we'll go through this. Ileana is here.
Present.
Rich.
Here.
Eric.
Present.
John.
Here.
Ruth Ann.
Here.
Who else is here tonight? Me. Kim.
Here.
So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Is that right, Rosemary?
Yes, everyone's here.
Okay. Thank you. Next, are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. Next, we have the minutes from September 10th, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from 2020?
No, sir.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the September 10th, 2020 minutes.
I second.
It's been moved by John, seconded by Ileana, that we approve the September 10th, 2020 minutes. I'll call the question. Ileana?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Okay. Next, our item number 6 on your agenda. It's a public hearing on resolution number 20-043, a resolution to adopt the Chambers and Hess Road Subarea Plan as a part of the 2035 Master Plan. We will open the public hearing at 7:03. Carolyn?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're ready to.
Okay. Good evening, Chairman and Planning Commissioners.
Can everyone see the screen? Excuse me, Carolyn.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Carolyn, one
All right.
request. Can you either speak a little louder or get closer to your mic because you're very faint?
Okay. If you don't mind, I'll plug in my little mic thing. Just give me a second here. Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Much.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so this presentation will provide an overview of the resolution number 20-043 to adopt the Chambers and Hess Subarea Plan as an element of the Parker 2035 Master Plan. Next. This resolution outlines how the plan will serve as a framework for future commercial development that balances land use, transportation, and market realities for appropriately scaled amenities at this important community center. Next. This type of long-range plan is called a subarea plan, which addresses a specific area and is designed to carry out the goals and objectives of the town's master plan. This subarea plan is a policy document that will not change zoning, land development codes, infrastructure, or subdivision plan platting. The plan provides a high-level analysis of land use, traffic, access, and circulation, and provides guidance on future development. I wanted the Planning Commission to note tonight that the town is currently reviewing an application for a subdivision plat for the Douglas 234 property, which is located within the sub-area. Through that process, the town will complete a more in-depth analysis for traffic, lot layout, and future infrastructure. This specific land use application is completely separate from this sub-area plan project and is not part of this long-range plan. Next. The Parker 2535 master plan identifies the planned study area as a community center on the general land use map. So these community centers are generally larger in scale, and they have a concentration of commercial and higher density residential development. Key intersection corners within the centers are generally preserved for commercial uses to ensure that there's adequate services available for residents. Next. To summarize the milestones of the project timeline, project work began in early 2019 with research and data collection tasks. After considerable progress was complete on the plan, town staff held 4 study sessions with the Planning Commission and Town Council, further input and direction on the plan. We also held 2 community open houses that were well attended by the public. And as the project progressed to completion in the spring of this year, the plan draft was released to the public in July. Next. Here's a map of the study area, which includes the commercial and mixed-use zoning planning areas, zone plan areas. The Douglas 234 property is located on the northeast corner of Chambers and Hess, and the Anthology planning areas are located south of Hess Road. The red colors indicate the existing commercial zoned areas. The green represents the open space, and the light pink color represents the mixed-use area of planning area 15. Next. The project focuses on planning areas in Anthology North and Douglas 234 plan developments. Plan developments differ from conventional zoning. Within a PD zoning, planning areas have been established with commercial and mixed-use permitted uses. Each PD has a separate plan development plan and general bulk standards. For the Anthology North portion, approximately 2,000 acres were annexed and zoned into the town over 20 years ago. The approved zoning contemplates approximately 6,400 residential units and supporting commercial and mixed uses. Future development within the approved zoning is planned to be complete within a 20-year time frame. The Douglas 234 plan development has a 14-acre parcel that's zoned for commercial, and this particular development is anticipated to be developed within the same time frame. Next. So these next slides will be covering the organization of the sub-area plan. So to start with, the sub-area plan is organized into 4 main chapters. Chapter 1 is the project background and planning context. 2 is the existing conditions. 3 is the land use analysis, and chapter 4 are the plan recommendations. Next. A wide range of community outreach activities included a Let's Talk Parker page, which reached over 1,000 local residents, an online community survey, 2 community open houses were held, which were well attended, stakeholder interviews, a talk of the town written articles, outreach to local HOAs, and of course the 4 study sessions that were held with Planning Commission and Town Council. Next. To summarize what we heard from the community, 3 common themes emerged during public engagement activities. The first common theme centered around a vision for an appropriate character for the built environment. The second theme focused on desired neighborhood amenities. And the third theme focused on community goals for the development of recreation and open space. Next. The vision statement for the plan describes the community center as a distinct, vibrant, mixed-use town center with an enhanced public realm that's walkable and bikeable. New development will have enhanced buffers and connectivity between uses. Oak Gulch will be preserved as open space, as well as a regional trail corridor, and neighborhoods and commercial areas will be interconnected through trails and gathering spaces. Next. The existing conditions chapter focuses on an assessment of demographics and housing trends, existing commercial development, market conditions, and a site analysis which examines topography, land use, and transportation. Next. It's important to note that there are 3 existing commercial retail centers located near the study area. So there's a community center located at 20 Mile Road and Parker Road, which is part of the town's major commercial core. This area consists of 5 retail centers with a total of 1.2 million square feet of commercial uses, which includes the Kohl's, Target, and Walmart developments. A neighborhood center is located at Hess and Parker Road, and that contains over 92,000 square feet of commercial development. A third community center is located at Stroh and Parker Road, containing 189,000 square feet of commercial development, and that includes the King Soopers grocery store development. Our consultant, Economic Planning Systems, examined market conditions in the study area. Their forecast stated that this community center is estimated to potentially support up to 350,000 square feet of commercial space, which may include a grocery store, retail, office, and professional services. To give you an idea of the scale of a 350,000 square foot commercial development, the Parker Valley Center, which is located on 20 Mile, is approximately 280,000 square feet, and it contains the Target and the inline retail developments. Next. The land use analysis examined topography, drainage, floodplains, wildlife, and land use and zoning. This analysis also included a high-level traffic analysis for potential access points into each of the planning areas within the study. Next. The land use concepts recognize the character and surrounding environment of the existing neighborhoods in the study area, as well as the need to encourage appropriately scaled commercial development while preserving natural features. To summarize both land use concepts, commercial development will occur in a planned and organized manner to create a strong visual and physical connection along Oak Gulch. Commercial development is concentrated at key intersection corners and major street frontages. Mixed use will be concentrated along the interior portion of Planning Area 15, framing the Gulch, and a portion of Chambers Road. Grocery anchored commercial is planned for Planning Area 18, with retail located along Hess Road. Oak Gulch will be preserved as open space with a trail corridor that connects to Reuter Hess Reservoir and to the east to Cherry Creek. The differences between the 2 land use concepts is that the land use concept number 1, Douglas 234, is shown with 100% commercial uses and enhanced buffers from the neighborhoods. In concept number 2, the land uses are similar to the first. However, a portion of Douglas 234 includes a small portion of single-family attached housing, similar to townhomes, and commercial uses are located along the roadway frontages. Anthology North and Planning Area 15 is configured with mixed uses along the eastern portion of the site, framing Oak Gulch, and extended to the extended Jordan Road. And you can kind of see the 2 differences on these 2 compared graphics. Next. The recommendations chapter really sums up the planning process with key strategies to implement the land use scenarios. The recommendations will ensure that new development will elevate urban design for walkable streetscapes that will complement the neighborhoods. And we also want to encourage residents to walk and bike to services. The recommendations also will ensure that important corners are enhanced with landscaping and architecture, and higher intensity uses will be located along arterial roadways, frontages with less intense uses that will transition into residential areas and parks and open space. Also want to point out that multimodal access will be integrated through a network of streets, sidewalks, and bridges. Next. Lastly, this sub-area plan is consistent with the community vision for the Parker 2035 master plan for a mixed-use community center. And it's also consistent with the multimodal transportation goals of the Parker Transportation Master Plan. Next. Staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve resolution number 20-043 to adopt the Chambers and Hess Road Subarea Plan as an element of the Parker 2035 Master Plan. Next. This concludes the presentation, and I'd like to thank everybody in attendance, and we'll open this part of the presentation up for questions.
Questions for Carolyn. I'll go down the roster. Ileana?
None from me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rich?
I have none.
Okay. Eric?
None.
John?
Carolyn, have you had any interest from a developer on any segment of this to date?
Right now, like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, the Douglas 234 property, they're currently going through a subdivision plat, and so they're kind of working through some of the lot layouts and so forth. So there's more specific analysis that's involved with that, but that's currently in place.
Thank you.
Ruth Ann?
No.
Kim?
Hi, Carolyn. I just want to ask, it looks like the initial slide had the open space kind of following possibly the wetlands or drainage area. Are they going to try to preserve that? And then I think the first slide showed it, but the second slide showed maybe some development over that. Are you going to try to preserve kind of that drainage area?
Yes, so that whole area has been zoned for open space, and so it will be distinctly preserved for open space, and there won't be any development within that drainage area. And so really it's the only thing that will be kind of going through there will be some type of trail system and maybe some concrete sidewalks that will go through areas where you can get down and walk into the area. So I think I had a picture that kind of showed a bridge going over. That's just sort of conceptual because there could be, with future development, there could be that possibility of maybe having a bridge connection going over the gulch. But that's a terribly expensive, and so it's highly unlikely that would be the number one option that a developer would go, but it is something that could possibly occur.
Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Okay. All right. Those people attending, either watching the Facebook presentation, if you wish to make a public comment on any item at this hearing, you must be joined into the Zoom webinar link posted on the town's website, www.parkeronline.org/planning commission. Facebook Live participants are only able to view and listen to the meeting. So if you have a comment about this particular item, it would be a good time to leave Facebook Live, enjoy the Planning Commission meeting on Zoom if you wish to comment on this tonight using the raise your hand feature. We appreciate your attendance at the Planning Commission and your cooperation. So we will, as it is a public hearing, we will open the discussion to public comment. Rosemary, do we have any hands up?
We do, sir, Chair.
Okay.
Ian Elfner, please identify yourself by your address.
15750 East Indian Brook Circle.
All right, Ian, glad to have you.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Wanted to talk about a few things. I think number one, I think the commercial and mixed use zoning here is massive in scale. let's go ahead and put that in perspective. If you take the inside of the ring road over at Park Meadows Mall, you're talking about ballpark 70 to 80 acres within the ring road itself. So what we're talking about here is about 96 acres at that intersection. To also put it in perspective as to what else is happening around the area that needs to be accounted for before approving this plan, you need to realize that the Canyons over in Castle Pines has zoning and is approved for 2 million square feet of commercial space. In addition to that, you have significant commercial that's been developed along Parker Road, which is already impacting demand and will impact demand at this intersection. In addition to that, you have Ridgegate East. Ridgegate East is going to have likely millions of commercial square feet, residential housing, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and just put the square footage in perspective. The 350,000 square feet that's being discussed is the equivalent of basically Target and Walmart Supercenter in town. That's if it's just 1-story development, not accounting for 2-story development or 3-story development, which is allowed within the zoning classification. So I ask you to look closer at these plans and look closer at these studies, because I don't think a whole lot of thought was put into the adverse impacts of what's happening in and throughout the area. You know, I think Parker's definitely developing. I get it. There's residential housing coming, but there is absolutely no need or no way that 350,000 square feet of commercial can be accomplished. And I think it would be more advantageous to the community to put in more residential in and throughout that area, because at the end of the day, what you're talking about is a neighborhood center. A neighborhood center is like King Super Center at Parker and Stroh, which is 189,000 square feet. So basically you're talking about doubling that up at this particular intersection and or more.
Ian, you have about 30 seconds, okay?
Thanks.
Okay.
You know, in addition to that, I want to say, you know, traffic into and out of Gold Rush with this plan really needs to be thought out. Gold Rush Elementary. That's a problem getting in and out of there currently. My kids go to school there, and I don't think anybody's really planning on that and thinking through how bad the area is going to be and how impossible it's going to be and how much stress it's going to put on Horse Creek as a whole, the neighborhood that's directly across the street to the north.
Okay, thank you, Ian.
I recommend you guys deny tonight and look closer at it. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Next, Rosemary.
That is the only hand we have raised, Chair.
Okay. All right, then we will close the public comment. Any further questions for staff, commissioners?
Carolyn, what's the long-term time frame on the you know, I know it's not set in the concrete, but what's your estimate of your long time frame to build this thing or begin construction on it?
Well, talking with the developers, they anticipate that construction at build out will probably be about 20 to 25 years. And so this is a phased, the Anthology North is basically phased development. So they have specific areas that are planned to be built at different intervals, timeframes. And so by the time we see any kind of commercial development sort of in, I mean, pretty much in this particular sub-area plan area, it'll probably be about maybe 10 to 20 years is what we're thinking.
Thank you very much.
Other questions?
I do. Carolyn, is that for completion or is that in totality 10 to 20 years?
Well, for Anthology North, yes. For Anthology North, for all of the residential developments and the commercial within our sub-area plan, we're thinking about 20 to 25 years.
Okay, and I had one other further question. As far as the connectivity of what they're trying to keep at open space, is there any plan? You said there might be a bridge. If that's not doable, then what is the alternative for some level of connectivity from trails from one side to the other and to keep it somewhat consistent?
Well, as Anthology North is gets further along in when they're starting to develop, they'll be actually putting together a parks, recreation, and open space plan, and through that process, they'll identify options, plans, more specific plans for connectivity through that area. So right now, we know for sure that there's going to be the Oak Gulch Regional Trail System, and that will connect to Rooter Hess to the west and all the way to Cherry Creek Trail System to the east.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Other questions?
Carolyn, could you just review very quickly the difference between a community center and a neighborhood center? Because this is a sub-area plan for a community center, is that correct?
Yes.
Which is designed to be larger?
Correct. So a community center, like you said, is designed to be at a larger scale for commercial development within a residential area. So those typically range in between about maybe 100 square feet to 100,000 square feet to 300,000 square feet in size, and generally, I believe they're about total of maybe 20 acres, 20 to 50 maybe. Bryce, can you refresh my memory?
So a neighborhood center is typically 100,000 to 250,000. It's services focused on the immediate neighborhoods, and community centers are focused on serving multiple neighborhoods. So to your point, they're typically larger. Master plan looks at them at somewhere between 250,000 and 500,000 square feet is the recommendation within that.
When this was put together, I don't think all of Lone Tree's plans, just a little bit farther to the west, had been put into place yet. Do you think that that's going to affect how this area should be planned in any way?
Basically, how it'll affect it is the type of commercial that will go there. So if there's more development, commercial development such as grocery stores and different types of development at that scale that maybe are going to be placed into Lone Tree or maybe in Castle Pines, those are going to be affecting the trade area for this particular sub-area plan. And so we might end up with maybe a smaller scale commercial area because of that fact.
So, and I'm sorry if I can add to that. The Ridgegate plan was actually in place last time the Parker 2035 master plan was reviewed. This is a community center because it's a major intersection of Chambers, which will be north-south, which connects all the way from Bayou Gulch up into Arapahoe County, and Hess Road, which is another major thoroughfare that goes all the way out from Sandy Hills to the east out to I-25. So it's a major crossroads in the community. And that's why this particular intersection was contemplated as a community center versus a neighborhood center, which are still arterial roads, but not as major of crossroads.
And I do want to add that the canyons in Castle Pines, that has been in place for at least 10 years, planning for that. So that also would fall in conjunction with when our master plan was updated.
And the other question I had is, if we approve this tonight, we're not saying that this is exactly, I mean, even what we approve has two different options in it in terms of what's being included and what isn't being included in terms of what would be suggested as the master plan for this sub area. Because we have section number 1 or number 2 are both considered equally viable changes in the levels of residential versus commercial and exactly how it's placed. So this is still very fluid, isn't it?
Yes, so this is a policy document, and it'll be an element of the master plan, but it really guides developers on what the town would like to see, how they would like to see this developed, and it's based on community vision. So we do have the 2 land use concepts, and they're very high level. They're really not detail oriented, have a lot of detail that you would see maybe in a lot site plan. So we purposely left this project as high level because the market changes. We're not really sure exactly how specific, which specific commercial developments will be interested in going in these areas. We're hopeful that we could attract a grocery anchor to the planning area 18 and have some a nice commercial services that will really be focused on serving the neighborhood communities, the neighborhoods.
And also, if I can add to that, and I believe, I know Planning Commission is aware of this, but this doesn't change the existing zoning out there. The zoning will stay the same unless the applicant, property owners come through with a rezoning request.
So yeah, that's what I was getting at. They would have to do a rezoning. Yeah. And so this, with the long lead time, I think what I'm hearing you say, with the long lead time, it's still somewhat, things can change. As you said, Carolyn, we don't know what the market's doing. We don't know what the market's going to be for retail. So we're just kind of giving kind of an overarching vision for what the area should be.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
I have a question. Carolyn, this either for you or maybe Bryce might be able to answer, but I understand in this development, there's about 6,000 plus homes planned for the area. Do you know on the north side of Hess, between there and Main Street, how many homes are already in that area from the football field over to Matzenbacher?
We have that, let's see. I think we have that broken down, the existing housing in that area. Let me see if I can find it in the study.
Okay, Richard, if you don't, Commissioner Forrester, if you don't mind, can you repeat the boundaries you were talking about while she's looking that up?
Okay. From Hess going north and Matzenbacher going west, all the way to say the reservoir or Chambers Road and Stepping Stone in that area to Main Street.
Okay, so that's kind of, those areas are kind of within the area of influence that we used for the study. And so we looked at the existing housing inventory for those particular boundaries. So it's about 6,330 housing units that are existing right now.
Okay.
So this could potentially end up to be over 12,000 plus homes servicing this community center.
Correct.
Neighborhood center.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Rich. Anyone else?
I have a
That's it
question.
from me. Thank
Okay,
you.
Kim.
Going back to Commissioner Forrester's question, this is basically, this is a vision. This is not anything set in stone. And if we find that once the development in various areas, say we see the commercial development in surrounding areas is extensive and probably doesn't warrant a lot more, we can then allot for maybe more housing. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, maybe Bryce can help me with that question. Currently, there are plans in place for the current zoning for Anthology North, and they have a certain amount of housing, the 6,400 residential units that they're planning on building it in phased you and FaceTime. And so, Bryce, can you help me with that? I kind of lost my train of thought.
So right now within the study area, most of the property today is zoned for commercial and mixed use. The sub-area plan is supportive of that and that continuation. Certainly, plans are living documents. And so as we progress through time, this is a 20-year plan, but it can respond, the town and the planning department, planning commission can respond in the future to changes in the market and changes in demand as this area begins to grow out.
Right.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, I think it does. It is, I understand that it's currently zoned how it is, but it doesn't mean the zoning can't change if things are built out very differently in the surrounding areas.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? All right. We will move on to, we'll close the public hearing at 7:36. Planning Commissioner discussion. I'll start with Ileana.
My comments were more related, or my comments are more related to that this is more of a sort of a goal, not anything written in stone. So I'm not against certainly making this resolution part of the master plan.
Rich.
All right, I just wanted to thank the town staff for their many hours of hard work and getting feedback from many sources, including the public on this. And I think it's a very good comprehensive plan. And like I say, it's not in stone, but we have to start somewhere and go forward and tweak it. So I am in support of moving the plan forward to the town council for approval.
Eric.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add. I think this is good long-term vision. As Carolyn, you had stated that this is really a 20, 30 year vision for this area and this plan. And I like the fluidity that we can change it as the market demands. So I'm certainly in support of that long-term vision.
John?
I agree with my fellow commissioners who have spoken, and it's good that we have a plan. This is going to go forward. As Carolyn said, it's a 20 to 25 year program, and with the fluidity of it, it fits into the master plan and goes forward very well to service the community that is existing there, as well as the new Anthology North community, and probably some other people who are just trafficking through on Chambers. So I'm very much in favor of it.
Ruth Ann?
I agree with my fellow commissioners. I think that this is not an overnight sort of thing. What we've done is we've had multiple public hearings on it. We've had study sessions on it. It's building off of a master plan, which also had multiple sessions. What I find is that it even has different options within the plan. So there's no dyed in the wool set thing that's being done here, but that area is going to need a larger, will probably need a larger area of commercial and mixed use in order to fully service as it gets built out over the years. It's got a lot of years to go, and market forces are going to also play into this, and we have no control over those. So I support this.
Kim?
I agree with Ruth Ann in a lot of ways. We have done a lot of study sessions over this. The public's been involved. This is not a site-specific plan. This is a concept, and we don't have anybody coming in yet to, develop this area. And I agree, it being a 20-year build out potentially, I think that there's going to be a lot of change coming to the area, but I also believe you have to start somewhere. And so I'm in favor of this resolution.
I guess I want to echo Rich's comments that I appreciate town staff and the thoroughness of the work that went into this. And I think at times people, the citizens, they don't understand that the town sales tax drives the budget. They want more parks. Well, without the sales tax, the town gets very little property tax revenue, and we just can't. We don't want everybody going to Ridgegate, or we don't want everybody going to Castle Pines North. We would like people to shop in Parker, and we want to certainly give them some opportunities. Now, will this turn into a Target or King Soopers? I think, as my fellow commissioners have pointed out, well, that's a long horizon. Nobody knows what that's going to look like. But as we said, either we have to have kind of a guiding document, and I think the staff did a good job of putting this together. I'll be in favor. All right. Well, does somebody have a motion?
I move the Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve the proposed resolution number 20-043 to adopt the Chambers and Hess Roads sub-area plan as an element of the Parker 2035 master plan.
Second.
It's been moved by John, seconded by Rich. The Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve the proposed resolution number 20-043 to adopt the Chambers and Hess Road sub-area plan as an element of the Parker 2035 master plan. Call the question. Ileana?
Aye.
Rich?
Sorry, aye.
Eric?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Chair, aye. The question passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda, are there any staff items, Bryce?
Just a reminder that 5:30 on October 8th, there'll be another training in advance of that meeting. Other than that, no staff items.
Okay, thank you. All right, then we will adjourn at 7:43. Oh,
Just before we adjourn, I just want to commend staff on us being placed as second in the nation. Our planning staff and past planning commissioners that had a lot to do with that. And I'm very proud of our community.
thank you, Ruth Ann. We will adjourn. It is still 7:43. So everybody have a nice evening.
Good night, everyone.
Nice
Stay safe.
Yep.
Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.